And then It's March of 2001, and Jana and I have come down here to Uncle Bill's to visit with Grandma. Jana, could you sing your ABCs for me?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P.
What else? Q.
Q, R, S, T, U, V, W,
Come on, sing it loud. I'm going to film your view, Bill.
Haven't heard from Carl Rowell.
I have. I called Nina a couple weeks ago. Carl was out fishing.
He's coming. He's coming. He's coming.
Slow up now. Come on back. She may not want you to follow her. She's getting her drink. Let her have her drink, and then when she comes out, I'll film you with her. Yeah, she wants to walk around, I guess. Can you sing Sunshine for me? Not today, huh? Here's Lady Dog. Pet, pet, Lady Dog. Tell Brandon, say, I'm not afraid of Lady Dog, Brandon. Pet Lady Dog. Pet her. She wants you to pet her now. There you go. Be careful now. Get close to steps.
You make me happy. That's okay.
Now stop goofing off next to those steps. Do you hear me? I don't want anything to happen to you. Okie dokie? My goodness. Can you dance like that for me? Sing Sunshine for me right there. Sing it real nice for me. Sing it real nice and real loud. Okay, I'm not going to film you anymore. What if you do what? You want to film me?
Yeah.
You're silly.
I want to film you.
You do?
No.
Well, no. What is it? What is it? Tell me what it is.
It's a pink tomato.
What do we call it at our house?
I don't know.
Ghost poop?
Ghost poop.
Go tell Uncle Bill what that is. Don't throw it all over Uncle Bill's patio, okay? Don't do that. He just got done sweeping there, okay?
This is ghost poop.
Turn around and tell me here at the camera what it is.
Ghost poop.
That's right.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't tear it up, okay? If you pick it up, take it and throw it in the trash in the house.
It's ghost poop.
Yes.
And he yawned, and he yawned, and he yawned. Let's yawn. Can you yawn? Huh? Come on, put up your mouth. Oh, like when you're sleepy. Okay. It says, come here. He opened his little rabbit mouth when he yawned. Look at him. Boy, is he yawning. And look here. Till you could see his white front teeth and his little pink mouth. Look in there. We can see him, can't we? And he yawned until suddenly a bee flew in his mouth. And he swallowed the bee. Look at that bee coming. Well, let's see what happened. Hoo, said a big round owl. Look at that owl. Look at his feathers. Always keep your paw in front of your mouth when you yawn, said the owl. Rabbits never do that, said the sleepy little rabbit. Silly rabbit, said the owl, and he flew away. Do you put your hand over your mouth when you yawn? I bet you do. The little rabbit wanted to call after the owl. He opened his mouth to speak, but the bumblebee was curled up asleep in his throat, and all the little rabbit could do was whisper. He had a bee in his throat. Look, here goes the owl. See there? That. Well, let's see. What shall I do? He whispered to a squirrel who wasn't sleepy. Wake him up, said the squirrel. Wake up the bumblebee. Well, how? Whispered the rabbit. All I can do is whisper, and I'm sleepy, and I want to go to sleep. But who can sleep with a bumblebee in his mouth? Look here who's peeking out the hole. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think that's 2 pages. Suddenly a wise old groundhog, it was a groundhog, he popped up out of the ground. All I can do is whisper, said the little rabbit. All the better, said the groundhog. Come here, little rabbit, he said, and I'll whisper to you how to wake up a bumblebee. See there, and he's going to whisper in his ear. You have to make the littlest noise that you can make, because a bumblebee doesn't bother about big noises. He's a very little bee, and he is only interested in little noises. Like a loud whisper, said the rabbit. Too loud, said the groundhog, and he popped back in his hole. You know, we have groundhogs back where I live. And I bet there's some out here, too. That feels like it's 2 pages. A little noise, whispered the rabbit, and he started making the little rabbit noises. He made a noise as quiet as the sound of a bird's wing when he flies through the air, but the little bee didn't wake up. So the little rabbit made a sound of snow falling down, but the bee didn't wake up. Doesn't make noise when snow comes down, does it? So the little rabbit made the sound of a bug breathing, and a fly sneezing, look there, and the grass rustling, and a firefighter thinking, and the bee didn't wake up. What are we going to do to get that out of there, huh? So the rabbit sat and thought of all the little sounds that he could think of. What could they be? As quiet as snow melting? Or as quiet as a flower growing? Well, when flowers grow, they don't make a noise, do they? As quiet as an egg resting in a shell? Quiet as, oh, all at once he knew a little noise that he would make, and he made it. Well, let's see what it was. It was a little chick, click, made hundreds of miles away by a bumblebee in an apple tree, in full bloom on a mountaintop. It was the very small click of a bee swallowing some honey from an apple blossom. See, that bee's up there getting some honey out of the apple blossom. So he's going to make a noise like that. And at that, the bee woke up. He thought he was missing something, and away he flew. Where is he? You see him? Yeah. And then what did the little rabbit do? That sleepy little rabbit. He closed his mouth, he closed his eyes, he closed his ears, and he tucked in his paws, and he twitched his nose, and he went sound asleep. There he is. And that's it. Did you like that story? You want to look at it again? You want to sit down there and look at it?
No, could you look at it?
Could I what?
Could you look at it with you?
What?
She wants to sit with you.
Oh, well, I can't move over. Just sit on my lap. Sit on my lap. There.
I want to tell you. I want you to do that again.
She wants you to do it again.
Once there was a sleepy little rabbit who began to yawn. And he yawned, and he yawned, and he yawned, and he yawned. And he opened his mouth when he yawned till you could see his white front teeth and his little round pink mouth. And he yawned, until suddenly a bee flew into his mouth and he swallowed the bee. Wouldn't that be awful? Look over here. Here's a butterfly. And bee, what's down there at the bottom?
A pod and a soda.
Yeah. Is there anything else there? Oh, there's some more bees. A lot of bees. Hoo, hoo, said the big round owl. Always keep keep your paw in front of your mouth when you yawn, said the owl. Rabbits never do that, said the sleepy little rabbit. Silly rabbit, said the owl, and he flew away. The little rabbit wanted to call after the owl. He opened his mouth to speak, but the bumblebee was curled up asleep in his throat, and the little rabbit, all he could do was whisper. Suddenly the wise old groundhog popped out of the ground. All I do is whisper, said the little rabbit. Oh no. What'll I do, say he whispered to a squirrel who wasn't sleepy. Wake him up, said the squirrel. Wake him up. Wake up the bumblebee. How? Whispered the rabbit. All I can do is whisper, and I'm sleepy, and I want to go to sleep. But who can sleep with a bumblebee in his mouth? Suddenly a wise old groundhog propped up out of the ground. All I can do is whisper, said the little rabbit. All the better, said the groundhog. Come here, little rabbit, and I'll whisper to you how to wake up a bumblebee. All you have to do is make the littlest noise that you can, because a bumblebee doesn't bother about big noises. He is very little bee, and he only interested in little noise. Like a loud whisper, asked the rabbit. Too loud, said the groundhog, and he popped back in his hole. little noise," whispered the rabbit, and he started making little rabbit noises. He made a noise as quiet as the sound as a bird's wing. You know, when a bird flies through the air, you doesn't hear it, do you? And he made it that quiet, but the bee didn't wake up. So the little rabbit made a sound of snow falling, but the bee didn't wake up. And so the little rabbit made a sound like a bug breathing, and a fly sneezing, and a grass rustling, and a firefighter thinking. But the bee did not wake up. It was like a little click. I think I turned 2 pages. So the rabbit sat and thought of all the sounds he could make. They could be as sound quiet as snow melting, quiet as a flower growing, quiet as an egg resting in its shell. And suddenly little rabbit knew what little noise he would make, and he made it. It was a little click, made hundreds of miles away by a bumblebee in an apple tree in full bloom. See, it's blooming, isn't it? On a mountain top, it was very small click of a bee swallowing some honey from an apple blossom. I bet that'll wake him up. And that's what made the bee wake up. He thought he was missing something, and away he